Greetings, welcome back to the Friday 13th YouTube channel. Today you're going to be watching an interview with a bass player called Pasi from the band Sonata Arctica, who are about to release their new album. It's called Acoustic Adventures and it's coming out at the end of September. So please enjoy this interview, please share, please leave comments, and take care and be safe, metalheads. Thanks for watching.
Hi Pasi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, not bad, thank you. Not bad. Thank you for doing this interview for a Friday 13th YouTube channel.
No problem at all.
Do you know my website at all? Do you know the magazine fanzine?
I think I haven't seen it yet, but I need to check it out.
Yeah, please do. It started back in It started back in 1988 as a fanzine.
Oh, yes. Cool.
So been around for 33 years, 34 years now, many years.
Wow.
But I did actually see your band live many years ago. I think you were playing with Pagan's Mind.
Yeah, I wasn't in a band that time yet, but yeah, but yeah. You guys toured with Pagan's Mind, yeah.
Okay, so thank you for doing this interview. So, folks, we're speaking to Pasi from the band Sonata Arctica. Welcome to Friday 13th. Hope you're having a good day.
Yeah, I have. Hope you too.
Yeah, me too. Thank you. So I'm going to ask you some warm-up questions first.
Yeah.
Back in the day, I mean, you guys were called Sticky Beans before you joined the band. Why did the band decide to call themselves Sticky Beans?
I'm not sure about that. Who chose that name for the band? I think they did a couple of shows and recordings in the studio with that name, and I think they changed even. It was first Tricky Beans, and then it was Tricky Means. But then when they did demo tape for the label, and the Spinefarm Records were signing the band, and they told that you can't be Tricky Means and you need to change the name.
Okay, so what did you think? Did you actually hear any of their music before you joined the band?
Yeah, sure.
What did you think? How was it? How different was it to what Sonata Arctica are now?
The first demo, which they had the contract with Spinefarm, it already included the Full Moon and songs like that. But they were playing more rock music, and I think they were also cover songs. I don't know if they recorded them, but it was more. I think it was like which band it is? My memory is sucking. Yeah. But it was more like rock music.
So actually, Pasi, before you actually joined the band, which of the albums by Sonata Arctica did you like the best? Which were your favourites prior to you joining?
First time I was listening to Sonata Arctica, it was actually we both, Henrik and I, was playing in band called Requiem.
Oh yeah.
And we did a couple of albums, and first time we heard Sonata Arctica was we supported them in Finland for one show, and I didn't know what band Sonata Arctica was that time, so I had to buy the album before we went to support them, and that was the live Japan live album after the Silence album. Studio album, and the live version, the live album was the first contact for me with Sonata Arctica, and I really liked it. And of course, after that, I bought also the Silence album and really liked that too.
Okay, because I remember Requiem. This kind of sounded a bit like Yngwie Malmsteen, progressive sort of stuff, if I remember rightly.
Yes, yeah, two guys with guitars, and they were playing so fast that they could. So, yeah.
So, did you enjoy being in that band?
Yeah, it was really cool.
So
we did.
Sorry,
the only reason 3 albums.
Oh, did you really? What label was you with? It was an Italian label, I think you were signed to.
Yeah, it was Scarlet Records.
That's the one, yeah, Scarlet, yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, okay. And so, I mean, prior to being in Requiem, what the band were you in before you joined Sonata Arctica?
Sorry.
What other bands were you in before joining Sonata Arctica?
First band, actually, Henrik and I have been playing together in Silent Voices band, progressive metal band since we founded it in 1995, and it's still somehow it's still alive, but we haven't been doing. We did a live album in 2015.
Okay, which band was this?
Silent Voices.
Silent Voices. I don't think I've heard them.
Yeah.
What do you sound like? Who do you sound like?
It's when we founded it, it was the idea was we were young guys and we listened to Russ and Dream Theater and bands like that. So it's progressive metal band.
I need to check them out because I'm a big Fates
Yeah,
Warning.
you have to check it. We have 4 albums and live album.
Honest, yeah. I'm a big Fates Warning and Psychotic Waltz fan.
Yeah.
I like those bands really much, very, very much. Oh, interesting. So, have you been in the band since the album came out for? Is it Parents' Child? Is that the first time that you did with the band? How did you feel to join? How did you feel when you first did the album? How nervous was you?
I was quite nervous, but I also played in a band called Winterborn before I joined Sonata. So we were touring in Europe with Sonata in 2009. We did a 5-week tour together, and of course I had been recording and mixing live albums and recording some stuff for Sonata already before that. So I knew the guys, and Henrik is my friend since 1995, 1994, and I knew the guys. But of course, when they asked me to join the band, it was kind of nervous thing, and we immediately went to rehearse songs for Pariah's Child and started to record it. But I think it was kind of smooth thing.
Okay, then. So, are you a producer? Is that what you do in your spare time? Are you a producer? You sound like you're producing a lot of stuff.
Yeah. I have a studio here in Finland, and I'm recording lots of bands and I'm mixing them.
Oh wow, that sounds interesting.
Yeah. Actually, okay. I'm here at my working room right now. It's not. It's still. We just moved in at my new house, so. But here's my.
Oh, cool.
Mixing a room here, but it's not ready yet because we just moved in. So I can already do some stuff here, but it's not ready yet.
Excellent. So before we talk about the new release, I want to ask you a question. Something about, I've never asked this before, but what is it with bands from Finland? A lot of them want to sound symphonic. It seems to be like a symphonic country for metal. Why is that?
I don't know. I think Finnish music is kind of melancholic more. It's more like if you compare them to Swedish bands, they are more happy and like enthusiastic. They have like positive energy, and Finns are more like melancholic, and also the melodies are more minor thing or melancholic melodies. But I don't know about the symphonic stuff. Maybe it's true, but I haven't been thinking that.
Yeah, there seems to be a lot of symphonic bands that come out of Finland, and I've always wanted to ask a band from Finland why.
Yeah, maybe it's because Nightwish.
Yeah, Nightwish or Tarot, maybe Tarot.
yeah, they are big huge band, and people like their music and they want to play music like them. So maybe that's or at least started making music because of them, and then they have their own bands and they include the symphonic thing.
Okay, then. So the next album that you did with the band was The Ninth Hour. How did you feel about this album? How much was it of a progression from the first album that you did with the band?
Yeah, that was a little bit different. Pariah's Child was maybe a little more power metal album. There was power metal elements more, and Ninth Hour was maybe there was a little bit more mellow album. Of course, there's power metal things too, but what I feel it's a little bit more like mellow album, little more even melodies and like it's more like feeling or how would I say it, but it's not that like speedy album.
Do you think it's more accessible for the fans?
I think what I've heard, they are kind of even things. People find their own things from Paradise Child and Night Hour, and even the same people that yeah, I like that album because of that, and I like that album because of that. So maybe they found what Tony has been thinking when he has written the songs.
Okay then, so and the next album, how do you pronounce the next album? How do you, sorry?
Talviyö.
How do you, what does it mean?
Yeah, it's winter night.
Okay, yeah, because you get a lot of winter nights in Scandinavia, yeah, dark days and yeah. Okay, and so why did you come up with that title?
And it means winter night.
So why did you come up with that name?
Oh, how it was. Yeah, it's 10th album, and we were thinking which it could be. Maybe it had to be X or something like that, and then we started to imagine the cover concept for it, and picture of the winter night scenery came out, and I think it was still we were thinking about that it's just X for 10, and somehow I think there is that X mark is still on a cover, but then we just maybe it could be winter night, but in Finnish, so it's more exotic or something.
Okay, so
but it's from the picture.
Okay, then so the band's name, what does it mean?
Band's name, what did yeah, I haven't been thinking that. Maybe it's it's been all the time. It's been like already a common name for me, as I have been in a band. So it's Sonata Arctica is kind of known name, and I actually haven't been thinking what it means. So, but maybe it's because we are here from north. The Arctic thing is that we have snow and ice and things like that, and maybe the sonata is the melodic part.
Oh, interesting. Interesting.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk. So now we're going to talk about the new release, Acoustic Adventures Part 1 and Part 2. These albums are both, these songs are all on one album, or the two albums put together? They're separate.
Actually, they are volume 1 and 2. We went to the studio and started to record the acoustic songs, and actually we had a couple of tours before that we entered the studio, and on the tour we were thinking that I think we were thinking that we in some point we need to go to the studio and record the acoustic versions for the album, but that was only we were only talking about that. But when the pandemic started and all the tours were cancelled and we had time, then we thought that maybe it's now time to go to the studio and do the acoustic album. And we just started to record songs and arrange them, and we didn't think too much how many songs there will be. We just recorded. We stayed in the studio and recorded stuff, and then we found out that we have 24 songs, and it could be a double album. But my thought was that it's too much for one time. So if you get 24 songs, you can't concentrate that much music at once. And I think our record label were also saying that it could be a separate albums, that we have 1 and 2, so you can have 12 songs and you can enjoy them and concentrate on them, and then you have space between the other release, and then you have another album which is all like the same, but it's you can concentrate separately for those songs, and I think it was a good thing. And also we had planned all the touring with it, that we will go on tour with the album number 1, and then we have next tour with album number 2. But of course the pandemic mixed all things up, and now we have both Finnish tour and European tour, and the first part has been half a year already out, and the second part comes now for the touring.
Okay, then was it difficult to pick the 24 songs?
Yeah.
It was difficult for you to decide which songs you wanted to use for these records.
Yeah. Yes and no. Yes and no. Of course, we have over 100 songs, so that's really difficult to choose what we want to put on the record. But we were touring with the acoustic format before, so we knew which songs worked on live. But of course, when we played on live, there was lots of songs that people expected to hear from us. But we didn't want to do the album that is just what you already know what's going to happen on the album. So we wanted to have also those oddballs and songs that people don't expect to hear. So like For the Sake of Revenge, Revenge is one of those songs that it's on the album. It's a fast song and totally different kind of song, and then you have it here, and actually it was the first single for the volume 1, so, and the videos and so we wanted to have something else as well.
Okay then, so the first volume 1, when did that actually was released? When did it actually come out?
Was it in February?
Right.
It was the end of February, I think.
And did it sell well? Is it selling well for you so far?
I've heard that it's had a really good response, and yeah, I think people wanted to hear that.
Okay.
And I liked it.
So the title, Acoustic Adventures. Why did you come up with the title? And did you have any other titles?
Yeah, of course we were bowling names, and I think that, but it was already those tours we did earlier. We wanted to include the acoustic name, so people think that it's acoustic, but also that there's adventure, that it's not just acoustic. It's not just the acoustic guitar and singing. It's not that simple thing. We had atmosphere and things like that. So there's like keyboards and stuff. It's not just acoustic guitar and vocal. So the adventures comes from that we don't know where it leads.
Okay, so the first cover, how does it differ from the new one? Because the new one's got the 2 guitars back to on joining each other. How did the first cover differ from this new one?
Sorry.
So how different is the first album, the volume 1, to the second one with the album cover? Because you've got the 2 acoustic guitars on the new one that's coming out shortly.
Yeah, actually, when the songs were recorded at the same time, so we recorded all the songs in the same time. So basically, we then split the songs for the volume 1 and volume 2. So we just thought that both of the albums should have songs from the whole career, not just that volume 1 is old songs and volume 2 is new songs, but we wanted to keep it interesting and have all kind of songs from all the era, all the Sonata career for both albums. So basically, it's not so different. It's only different songs, but the idea is the same. And the cover is, we wanted to change the color, and I think it's a little bit like you have seen the Guns N' Roses Use Your Illusion 1 and 2. So it's different color. You can see that that's not the same album.
Okay then. So how long did it take to record this record altogether?
I think it took couple of weeks. We went into studio and I think it was in May 2020, and we recorded May and some songs in June still, and we did 2 stream shows.
Oh yeah.
Stream songs between the recordings. So we also rehearsed for that, and then we mixed and mastered the album in September 2020, and they were both done at the same time, so they have been ready and waiting for the release.
So who produced this album? Was it yourself being a producer, or did you get somebody else to come in and record the album for the band?
Yes, we had a producer, Mikko Tegelman was in the studio with us, and he was producing the album, and also we had an outside player, Mikko's brother Matti Tegelman plays the contrabass for a couple of songs in the album.
So the producer, who else has he worked with for the people that don't know?
Sorry?
So what the producer who did your albums, who else has he worked with?
Yeah, he has been, I don't know if you know Turmion Kätilöt
No.
band. It's Finnish band, and he's been doing Tarot.
Yeah, I know Tarot, yeah.
Yeah. That and lots of Finnish music. He's a legend here in Finland.
So it wasn't recorded at that studio. Is it something Vox Studios in Finland? It's a really famous studio where a lot of bands record. Yes, yeah, Finnbox, yeah.
Finnbox, yeah. That's the old school Finnish studio. Yeah, I think a couple of Sonata. I think first Sonata albums are being mixed in Finnbox, and maybe Talula's piano is recorded for the original album in Finnbox Studios.
Oh. Okay, so what's the future for the band? Have you got a new album in the works, like a proper hard rock album that you're doing? Are you doing something very shortly?
You mean the real album?
Yeah.
Or new album with new music and electric versions. Yeah. We've been planning. It's when Talvia was released in September 19, and we managed to tour with it in North America, in Europe, and in Finland, and then the Latin American tour were about to start. The pandemic started and everything went down, but it's already 3 years when we released it, so we cannot continue the Talvia tour anymore. So when we have this acoustic tour done, and we definitely go to the studio and start to record the new album some point. I don't know the schedule yet, but hopefully really soon.
Okay, so when does this acoustic tour start?
Acoustic tour starts in 2 weeks. It's on the same date and when the album is hit the stores, so it's September 13. We start the tour here in Finland, and then we have 3 weeks here, and then we go to Europe, and we are back home for Christmas.
Okay, so the future. Do you think you're going to be doing a live DVD for the next release?
Yeah. That would be fun. We have been talking about that a lot, but we don't actually know what we definitely want to do that, but no plans yet. And we have been talking that during the years, that when it should happen and where it should happen, but I really hope that it happens soon, somewhere cool place, and we could do a proper DVD.
So the next album, how is that going to differ from the last one? How do you think it's going to sound?
No idea yet. But I think Tony has already written some songs, and we already heard some demos what he has done. So maybe I should not say anything, because people have hopes and opinions, and then when they hear the album, it's not what they thought. But it will be Sonata Arctica, so it can be anything.
Okay, so you're now signed to Atomic Fire Records, and you're no longer with Nuclear Blast. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's true.
It's pretty much the same family, isn't it? It's the same company, but just
Yeah,
like
the owner is the owner. I think it happened something like that. That the owner of the Nuclear Blast records were selling the main company to some major or something somewhere, and he wanted to keep bands, and for a couple of years it was going with the name Nuclear Blast TT, which were released Talvia and lots of albums, and then I think it was in the beginning of this year the Nuclear Blast TT was changed into name Atomic Fire. So basically it's the same thing, only the name changed.
okay.
But we separated the main Nuclear Blast already a couple of years ago.
Okay then, Pasty. So thank you for doing this interview. I hope you have a nice day.
And thank you, and you too.
And do you have anything
to talk to you?
do you have anything to say to the people that are watching this on YouTube?
I hope to see you guys on tour soon. We are starting the tour soon, and I hope to see you all on tour, and really wait to go and back on stage and playing for all the cities and where we have shows. So really waiting that, and pleasant fall for everyone, of course, and rocking.
Thank you very much, Pasky.
Yeah, thank you.